Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. We got videos today from Alexander Grace.
All right, fellas. I figured out a trend that the boyfriends can do, but the girlfriends cannot. You ready? Watch this. Watch this. Ready?
What it say?
It's the best.
I don't get it.
It's the best. They
Like
don't.
standing
really
like
don't.
best? Hello. I don't understand. I'm doing it. I'm doing exactly what we're doing.
Baby, I'm hungry. I'm cooking dinner.
Like they never even think about the being silent is a thing ever in their heads, right? Because in their heads is just chaos constantly.
Can you just tell me?
Thank you.
They cannot do it.
They really can't.
Just be silent. Doesn't even occur to her as a
doesn't.
possibility. It's a stereotype, but it's absolutely true. Women like to talk and men like silence. Men like the peace and the quiet. But when a woman wants to talk to him, that's why she gets so frustrated. You always...
You know, for so many years, I used to drive the car with no music on. Like, after high school or after my divorce, I just didn't really listen to music. So I would literally drive my car silent for like 3-4 years. And it felt fine when I was dating like that. Every person I dated was just like, why do you not have any music or anything on? And I'm like, well, I supposed to?
see this when a man comes home from work and he just wants to decompress and relax. He just wants some peace and some quiet. But she's been at home all day and she's bored. She wants some stimulation. She's constantly trying to engage him in conversation. Like, how are you feeling? How was work? Tell me everything that happened in your day.
Yeah, so really nothing too crazy at work. Everyone showed up when they were supposed to. Bill and his wife are pregnant. Have a kid.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how is she doing? How's her like pregnancy been? She's been sick or anything?
She's pregnant. That's all we need to know.
What do you know?
You see, these days, it's not enough to go to work all day to earn the money and then to come home and then to do the dishes. You're still going to be filmed by your girlfriend and put on social media and shamed and criticized by other women for being defective, for not having enough gossip. You wouldn't think it's that big of an ask for women to just treat men as though they are men. Just recognize that we're different. We've got different values, different priorities. But no, that seems to be asking too much. You know, women are still treating men like they...
That's why I say women literally have no empathy. They cannot put themselves in men's shoes at all.
They are defective women.
How far along is she? Do they know if it's a boy or a girl yet? You didn't ask him like anything? Ask how she's doing. Ask how far along she is. Ask how he's doing.
There's no mistaking
We don't
that
care.
condescending, judgmental tone. The implication is always, men, there's something wrong with you. Why doesn't he know more details? Why doesn't he talk more? Why doesn't he ask more questions? Why doesn't he satisfy my need for gossip and drama? The answer is because men don't like that. It's not what men want from a relationship. He doesn't look at his girlfriend to be a source of entertainment for him. He wants her to be a place of rest, to soothe the fire of his masculinity and bathe in the cool presence of her femininity. That is how it's meant to work. Femininity restores masculinity. A woman helps a man regain his strength. But in the modern era, we've got these women who paint men wanting peace as though it's a toxic trait.
Any man that's their number one requirement for a woman is for a woman to be his piece. You just know you're dealing with a true fucking menace to the dating pool. Because what the fuck do you mean you need me to be your piece? To ask for peace, you're a piece of shit. Honestly.
Do you know that stereotype that when a man and a woman agree to go to couples therapy, the man agrees because he wants to find some solutions to the problems in their relationship, but the woman wants to go to couples therapy because she wants a platform for her to talk about her feelings. There is a lot of truth to that. It points at something fundamentally different about men and women. To state it plainly, men want peace. If there's a problem, they want a solution. They want to fix it as quickly as possible so they can get back to peace. But that causes a lot of conflict between men and women because peace is not her goal. She's not necessarily wanting a solution or a conclusion. She's chasing a different agenda. And that's why so many arguments and problems in relationships just go on and on and on, because they haven't reconciled the fact that man and woman want different things. So what does the woman want? What exactly is her goal. Okay, back to the video. We've established a man wants solutions because he wants to get back to peace. But what
Damn
does a
right.
woman want? She wants to talk. She wants to feel. For some women, the absence of drama can actually be scary for them. Peace is not peaceful. Peace is terrifying. It's boring. It's understimulating. She wants talking and emotions and conflict and drama because it makes her feel alive. This is what's behind the psychology of how women are able to hold grudges for years and years and years. I'm going to talk more about that in part 2. But right now, do you understand the implications of this? Because if her true goal is to entertain herself and finding a solution is going to rob her of the opportunity to fully explore all of her emotions.
So it's just for the plot? This is what they always say.
Do you think then that she's actually motivated to not have a fight with you? Or do you
Nope.
think she's operating from a very different agenda?
How would you start a fight? How would you manufacture it?
It could be like something super petty. If I'm picking a fight, oh, you haven't
even
done
know
this
it.
in so long. Why not? Da, 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 you know.
Okay. Like, what would that be? Like,
Flowers. We haven't gone on a date. Like, why don't you like me?
Okay, here's the thing. You can always buy more flowers. You can always take her on more dates. You can always give her more reassurance that you love her and that you're committed to her. There is
Sure.
no end point to any of that. So what are you meant to do when you, as a man, are wired to fix a problem when the woman's problem, as she presents it, is inherently unfixable? It
Unfixable.
really shouldn't be any surprise that men and women fight inside their relationships because the differences are so difficult to reconcile.
That
Not
makes
only
sense.
do we see things differently and we value different things, but our styles of resolving conflict are completely at odds with each other. You are a man. You have a masculine conflict resolution style. You know
Fix.
how amongst men we settle shit between each other. We like to keep things short, direct, and solution oriented. If men fight with each other, typically it's over some issue of disrespect, and we need to resolve where each man stands in the hierarchy. But once it's done, it's done. There's a clear resolution. Men don't typically hold grudges. And most importantly, the dispute stays contained to what that dispute is about.
Correct. You know, if I'm mad at you about this, all of a sudden that is over. The disdain from each other is also over in a sense because that incident is gone.
Women are completely different. It can start
Bring
off
up
as
everything
a fight
from the
about
past.
one thing, but pretty soon you're fighting about 10 things.
You're a boy who has ever been dumped. This is what happened. You do not care enough to text her good morning, even though this is a simple, fixable problem. This is now a big problem. So now your girlfriend, who has never picked fights before in her life, starts picking a bunch of little fights about all these different things because she believes that you do not care enough.
You see, what you don't understand as a man is that you forgetting to send her a good morning text is not just about that text. It's connected to the fact that you didn't compliment her haircut and that you were 5 minutes late to dinner and that you forgot her dog's birthday. In her mind, it's all connected. I swear to God, these are real. I zoomed in on them. Look at it. These are actual reasons, proof.
I thought he was fucking around. She did literally write those.
According to her, that you don't care about her. That's why you didn't send that good morning text. That's the explanation. It couldn't possibly be that you forgot or that there was a misunderstanding or a miscommunication. You didn't understand it had to be every single day, or that you were confused because sometimes women give conflicting advice.
Worst text to send a girl. The morning text. Good morning, sweetheart. How are you doing? Hope you slept well. You're basically saying you're a simp.
There are so many innocent, normal explanations for why he didn't text in the morning. But no, she's going to leap to, you don't care about me. And this is so typical of modern women. Instead of making the effort to try and understand where the man is coming from, get a read on his perspective and find out where he's at. Make some effort to meet him in the middle. So what she's going to do is she's going to take her feelings, her emotional response to the situation, treat it as though it's objective fact, and then pick a bunch of like small fights with him about it. It's incredibly frustrating as a man because not only is there the original issue that began the conflict, but it also feels as though the woman you're in a relationship with is sabotaging every attempt that you're making to try and resolve the situation. You're trying to fix the problem, but it feels like she's working against you. You're trying to keep things small and contained and focused on the actual problem because you don't want other things from outside of that to contaminate and confuse the issue, but every attempt you're making is being undermined. She's actively trying to make the issue bigger. She's engaging in emotional avalanching. She brings in situations from the past, or she even brings in other people. You thought that you were just having a private disagreement between the two of you? No. Look at your phone. You're getting texts from her best friend, from her sister and her mother. Suddenly, your whole social circle is weighing in, and because they heard the situation from her, surprise, surprise, they're all taking her side. And what about this recent trend where women take their relationship arguments to social media? Because it's not enough to just have your personal acquaintances weigh in. That's not a violation of privacy enough. That's not humiliating enough on its own. No, we need the entire world to give their opinion on this.
Somehow this man got into his head that, you know what would be really cool is if you put one of those giant blue hockey discs in the back of your toilet water so that every time you flush, the toilet water comes out blue. We live in a pretty nice neighborhood. Like, it's 2024. Like, what are you doing where you think this was a good idea? Take me through that.
Yeah, we just see their manic episodes in real time, in real life, because they actually just record it thinking that they're in the right because they are so upset over blue toilet water.
He's like, you're making such a big deal. You're being so dramatic. I'm like, I am not being dramatic. And I am complaining about it every day. I'm like, I literally am like, I can't live like this anymore. I cannot live with the blue toilet water. You tell me if I'm overreacting, because I really don't think I am.
Yes, of course you're overreacting. Here's why.
My husband and I have been married for 17 years. My husband's incredible. Like, I travel a lot for work. I come home. He's so great about cleaning the house, doing the laundry, keeping up with the kitchen. The house is always immaculate when I come home.
You want to know if you're overreacting? Consider the context. Your husband's amazing. He does everything. The house is immaculate. You've been married for 17 years.
But blue toilet water? Oh, hell no.
Don't you think that he deserves better than this? Hasn't he earned a bit of loyalty, a bit of privacy? You can't possibly think that doing this, bringing it to social media, is going to de-escalate the situation. You're not thinking about the relationship. You're thinking about yourself. And what men struggle with so much is that even if all of the practical solutions to a problem have been implemented, many women don't consider an issue or an argument to be resolved until they feel better, until there's a shift in their emotions. But who knows when that's going to change, or if she even wants it to change.
True.
Can you see that the issues in a relationship are only part of the battle? Often the deeper problem that actually prolongs conflicts is whose conflict resolution style are we going to use to get out of this? Are we going to use the masculine method or the feminine method? Who do you think has the skill set that is better suited to lead a couple out of a toxic, argumentative dynamic into a healthy one? Men or women? I know we've been told that women are intuitive, they're emotionally intelligent and good communicators. But is that really true? Or is that a myth that we perpetuate in order to keep women comfortable? Because the truth is not that flattering.
Women are a little bit more neurotic in nature, so they're less able to really see their behaviors. They're more likely to bring up arguments within a relationship as well. Women are not taught like men are, especially because you guys are under the threat of physical violence.
Correct.
Like other men, when you are in sports and when you are together, and you're just going to get your ass kicked if you're not accountable or if you're a douche. That's what men do. Women talk behind each other's back. It's female nature, right? Women, this goes back to Jordan Peterson. Women are bullies, but they're mean girls. Even the Gottmans, who came up with the freaking Love Lab, who studied women, said that 68% of the time women are bringing up problems in a relationship. So yeah, I think, sorry guys, we're just a bunch of bitches.
Respect. That woman knew her figures, and she's absolutely right. According to Gottman's research, almost 70% of the time it is the woman, not the man, who's bringing the relationship issues to couples therapy. The reason for that is because women are extremely prone to misdiagnosing structural issues as connection issues. That one's fascinating. I explain how that works in part 2. But when I look at the data, I think that it's reasonably clear that the masculine method yields better results. And
Always.
I admit,
the world was built on the masculine method.
I'm biased, I'm a man, and you can criticize me for that bias, but at least I'm being open about it. Yeah, I'm a man, I like the masculine method. But what's fascinating to me is that every couples therapist, every self-help book, every psychology article that you have ever read online, they all advise the exact same thing when it comes to resolving conflict between men and women in a relationship. The only method that they ever discuss is the feminine method. How's that for a bias? And they don't even acknowledge it. They don't even call it the feminine method. They just treat it as though it's common sense. Of course, more talking is the solution to every problem. Of course, we should just keep sharing more and more feelings. And I'm not dogmatic. I admit it does have a place. It's good for men to work on communication skills, and it's not healthy for men to be alienated from their own emotions. But can we at least acknowledge that at an institutional level, men in relationships are forced into adopting the feminine method? If there's a fight between a man and a woman in a relationship, you better believe they're not solving it the man way, they're solving it the woman's way. What an incredible privilege that is for her to always be
it's home field advantage, right?
Fighting on her home turf, to set the terms of the debate, to be able to say when it ends, how it gets conducted. The advantage, the privilege is just off the charts. Why can't we admit that that's what's happened? Imagine for a moment that the genders were reversed and all conflict was resolved the masculine way. Couples therapy is just about quickly finding solutions. If there are any leftover emotions, we don't really talk about them. We do some practical task together. We build something, we go fishing. We resolve it the man way. Can you imagine how
fishing would be great?
Would respond to that kind of bias? They'd be furious. The outrage would just be palpable. Like, how dare you, you toxic men? You think that we should contort ourselves and fit into your method, squeeze ourselves through this masculine, way of doing things? Why should we, as women, adopt your conflict resolution style just to make you comfortable? I don't know. Why, as men, should we? It is absolutely impossible to defend the feminine method based on their record. The results are absolutely terrible. We keep doing this for decades. And what's the result? Couples fight more than ever. Divorces are through the roof. There's so many poor children who are growing up in broken families because
women are miserable. Men are miserable.
Mom and dad couldn't work out their disagreements. The track record of the feminine method of conflict resolution is really, really bad. Don't we care about the results, the consequences of this? Like, just look at the children from the divorced families. Is that not reason enough to try something different?
It should
Why
be.
aren't children our top priority? That's an uncomfortable question to ask.
Society changed. In Asian countries, children are very big priorities. Like, even in Japan, they're huge priorities. Just obviously, they're not having kids, but they still care about the kids greatly.
Because the truth is very clearly that our top priority in our culture is making sure women are comfortable, even if their method doesn't work, even if it breaks apart families. Our culture likes doing things the feminine way because it underscores the notion that women are superior. Women are the moral authority of our society, and your job as a man is to shut up. Any objection that you have to the feminine method is just toxic masculinity and patriarchal privilege. The world would be a better place if men were just women.
I recognize that he is trying and he is learning how to communicate with me. It's not an overnight process. He's still new to his healing journey, so I just have to keep remembering that.
Oh, he's so new to his healing journey, isn't it? Isn't it so generous of women to be so patient with us? It's so nice of women to take their time while we men gradually accept that the skills and processes that we use to build this entire civilization are inherently toxic and they're actually ineffective at solving problems. We got it wrong. Men have nothing to contribute. There's no point in seeing things from a different perspective. We men, we just need to be grateful for the time that our feminine overlords are taking in re-educating us. There is a huge double standard here because the psychological literature never frames female demand for conformity, that men adopt their preferred conflict resolution style, as evidence of a superiority complex, but it does frame male withdrawal from that style as inherently toxic. He's stonewalling, he's dismissive, he's emotionally unavailable. Or maybe he's just a man and he can tell at a structural level that all of this process is working against his interests. But he's trapped.
It's
Because
bullshit.
the feminine style is accepted as the status quo, and any attempt that he makes to resist or to opt out of the feminine framework, that is used against him as evidence that he's not really interested in solving the problem. No, that's just proof that he's sabotaging it. And so he's fucked. What's he gonna do? He cannot challenge the framework from inside the framework. Every exit is sealed. He's trapped. The way that they've set it up is that he is imprisoned by the framework itself. So let's just recap what we've covered so far. We've talked about how men and women resolve conflict differently, why women treat men as though they are defective women, and how the feminine style of conflict resolution is the status quo and just treated as the default method. What I want to cover next is how the institution of psychology was captured by women. It's fascinating how that occurred, and I also want to explain in depth how the feminine style actually creates more problems.
Shout outs to Alex. If you guys want to see part 2, go to his Patreon, go to his channel, give him some subs. It's $5 for his Patreon. We learned so much from the man. I am a dumbass. The man is a much better scholar than I am, putting in the work, putting in all that effort. I just get to ride the wave of the Alex Grace train. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Really appreciate that, and catch you guys next time. Ciao.